A lot of times homeowners call me and say, hey, I have a very specific look I want. I don't know what materials or or even how to get there, okay? 9 out of 10 homes that we meet with or exist in kind of Johnson County, Jackson County, the greater Kansas City area today are fairly colonial, traditional, kind of basic woodlap siding. And then for the most part, they have kind of 3 or 4 options, okay? So they could do nothing in paint, which is normally short-term the least expensive, long-term the most expensive. Because it's just over time you're compounding issues and you're constantly fixing problems. And painting is way more expensive than it used to be. You go back with cedar siding, which is like more expensive than brick or gold. Like between tariffs and then just kind of the costs of cedar and mills, cedar siding is extremely expensive, and then you have to paint it. And so it's a very expensive option. So most homeowners don't want to do that. So then they're looking at James Hardie fiber cement siding, which is the most popular, most durable. Vinyl siding, which has a place, but honestly, it's got so expensive over the last 5-6 years since the pandemic that it's almost the same price as James Hardie fiber cement. So most people opt for the Hardie, or you can go with LP Smart Side, which is kind of like a half measure in between Hardie and like a traditional wood. And so LP Smart Side is not a bad option. I tell people it's more of like a 15-20 year option. The biggest drawback though is, and I had no idea until I owned a home myself here, there's so many woodpeckers in Kansas City. Like, it's a huge problem, and if you have a new LP Smart Side house that's 1 day old, woodpeckers will attack that just as well and just as crazy as they would with like cedar. And so for the most part, most homeowners are looking at James Hardie fiber cement or vinyl siding, and then it comes down to Hardie is the look and character and feel of wood with none of the maintenance. So no wood rot, no dry rot. You don't have to repaint maybe every 20-25 years. No woodpecker damage. You get a Class A fire rate. It's not going to burn. It's warranty against hail damage. And so, again, vinyl's not a bad product, but I think most of the time when homeowners actually look at, okay, I think everyone agrees Hardie's better, but then what's the upcharge? And what we're seeing now is normally about 10 to 15%, which is much more stomachable than it was maybe 5-6 years ago where it was 50%. And so, again, a homeowner can choose to do nothing in paint, but that's a constant hamster wheel. It's still pretty expensive. You're always dealing with it. And I'll tell you, if you're going to paint now and then you're going to sell your home in 7 years, I bet you're going to repaint right before you sell anyway. So you're really painting twice. You could do cedar, which is it's beautiful, but it's very expensive. Unless you want a very specific cedar stained wood shingle look, it doesn't make a ton of sense. Vinyl has a place, but because of how expensive it's gotten, less and less people are buying it. LP Smart Side kind of makes no sense because it's about the same cost as Hardie, but woodpeckers are such an issue here. Why would you spend all this money and still leave yourself susceptible to woodpeckers every single day? So again, it's not just my word for it. There's a reason why 75% to 80% of people in the Kansas City area are choosing to go back with James Hardie fiber cement because it makes sense.